Welcome, Broncos country, for another episode of Horsepower Hour, sponsored, future sponsorship, right, Jeremy? Is that what you were going to say?
I was about to say you got it right. That was the first time, I think.
Dude, I know. But soon enough, this will be. Oh, we already lost Mark, per usual. I hope he's okay. We'll see if we get him for this episode. But yeah, soon this will be Empower Hour because we will get this show sponsored. And hopefully Mark will be on the show by then. But for everybody in the comments, welcome. Be sure to smash that like. Get in the comments. Discuss with us. We got a great show. We'll talk about the holdouts. And then we'll get into some really fun Broncos-related topics that we're going to debate. Not necessarily a trivia, revisionist history, some different things like that. But Jeremy, Kodiak, how are you guys doing tonight? Thank you for being here for another Horsepower Hour.
Of course. I'm doing great. Just got off the pickleball court, so I'm sweaty. I just took a shower real quick, and yeah, we're going. But I feel good. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking. You know, we've got one more day, I believe, until rookies actually report for training camp.
Yes.
So, yeah, but I'm doing good. I went to Topgolf today for my sister's birthday. Didn't see any of the Broncos there, even though I know that's a hangout spot for them. But I was hoping I got a little Jeremy luck and got to see maybe RJ Harvey or something.
There you go. Were you wearing the same vest as in the intro?
Oh, yeah. No, I wasn't. That was my old work uniform. And
okay. I was like, that's the Topgolf uni right there.
Yeah. Had I worn that, people would have thought I was crazy instead of, yeah.
I like it.
Me too.
Hey, Mark.
There he is.
Man, what's going on?
Are you here? You're not going to leave us?
Well, it was weird too because I could still hear you. Like Mark left us, and I was like, "What is he talking about?" And then I look at myself, and I was like, "Season almost." And then yeah, so I don't know, man. Now, it only happens on this show, so we're bringing the heat, I guess.
That's what it is.
Well, let's go ahead and get to some of these topics before you inevitably leave us again. We're going to start with it. So, guys, if you're watching and you don't know what's happening, this is our last show we got to do before we got, really nothing to talk about. Training camp starts tomorrow. RJ Harvey is unsigned along with 29 other second-round picks. And we also have Jahdae Barron, who is unsigned along with the guy from the Cleveland Browns or the Cincinnati Bengals. What's his name? Shamar Stewart, right?
Yeah.
Does anybody on the panel have a good understanding that can break this down for us of why these guys are unsigned? And we can discuss that for a little bit.
Yeah,
I have no idea why Jahdae Barron is not. I don't think it has much to do with Shamar Stewart. That's a really weird one, but per what Mike Kliss was saying in his article, he doesn't seem like it's going to be a problem. Now, with the second rounders, and everybody's having an issue, it's because of the stupid Houston Texans and the Cleveland Browns. They, for the first time, guaranteed their second round draft picks, the full 100% of their contract. And so when I think Cleveland did it with Schlesinger, and then Houston followed suit with Jaden Higgins. So now the rest of the second rounders are like, hey, they're going to get, fully guaranteed contracts. We should, because like if you compare Jaden Higgins, 34 pick, he had 100% guarantee. Last year was Ladd McConkey, and he had like 91%, not 100%.
Oh, wow.
It's very stupid stuff, but it's like, okay, 91%. So I feel like you can just do some simple math and make the changes to like fill out the rest of it. But I mean, you already know that the agents are going to tell the players to hold out, try to get as much money as you can, and the owners aren't going to want to budge. So it's really like a waiting game. But I think deadlines will always spur action. So I think it'll be fine. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that.
It's always the trash. No offense to the Houston Texans. I guess they're not quite trash, but it's always the trash like franchises that screw these things up for everybody because they're desperate. And they're like, please sign with us because we know you don't want to be here. So let's incentivize you to sign. And then it screws everyone else up. And it's like, can you guys just get on the same page? It's already pre-slotted. This should not be happening. And now it's going to like what's going to happen is someone's going to come in late. Not saying it's going to be the Broncos, but all these guys are going to be coming in late, not working out. Then somebody's going to have some freak injury, and it's just because some stupid like ownership is like can't get their crap together, and it's pretty pathetic. It's like the Browns did the same thing with Sean Watson. It's like, oh, we'll do anything to have some relevance whatsoever, and there goes the rest of the league, and you're just like, ugh, you guys are, it's so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from all the people that are like tapped in right now, it seems like the main issue is everybody's concerned about the domino effect that could potentially happen if every second round pick gets a guaranteed contract. Because I don't even think every first round pick gets a guaranteed contract. Like, it's not a part of the CBA. It's not mandated. So then if you give every second round pick a guaranteed contract, then what happens to the third rounders? That's what agents are all, trying to weigh right now. But I don't blame the Texans for what they did with Jayden Higgins. I blame the Browns because obviously Jayden Higgins was first, and then the Browns were like boxed in. Then they were just like, all right, we got to give Schlesinger his guaranteed money. And, from everything with our slot with Jahdae Barron, I think everybody's pretty calm on that front. But what is happening is that now you're just weighing on what to give Jahdae Barron compared to last year's 20th overall slot, who's Troy Fautanu, who got $7.8 million as a signing bonus from Pittsburgh. But holy shit, there we go. Never mind. There we go.
And never mind.
All right, boom.
I got to do a new thumbnail after we.
Yeah,
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah,
Wow.
That's actually really funny. I'm not surprised by that because I never understood why that one, because like the number 19 guy, Abuka, signed, the number 21 guy signed.
Yeah, there's nothing.
It's because the 21 guy got a bigger signing bonus than Ibuka did. That's what I think Kodiak was trying to say.
Well, no, I think it was based on like they were trying to weigh the 20th overall slot versus the 19th and 21st slots this year, because it was like a difference of $2 million compared to those two. But yeah, oh well, doesn't matter. Now, Jahdae Barron will be there according to Mike Kliss, and
there you go.
I don't have anything.
Deadlines per action, like they say.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm just gonna say we willed this into existence, man.
Yeah.
They did not want us spending the whole podcast talking about this.
All right,
That's
everybody,
exactly right.
let's change the title to Jahdae Barron signs rookie deal.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what I
let's keep
Ahead of
talking about
horsepower.
Harvey so we can get that one done, and then we'll
Yeah.
be good.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that one's gonna be interesting. Like, I got a question for y'all, but first, want to shout out Broncos Fan for Life for dropping the Kliss bomb on us. This is great. Thank you. And Eli, we'll get to your super here in a minute, but I got a question for y'all. Like, let's say there is kind of a collective holdout with the league, whether that's owners, whether that's players, on just not, signing right now. Is there a certain amount of days of camp being missed in which you feel like it would be the tipping point to affect RJ Harvey's role on the team this year? How worried would you guys be about him missing any time?
I wouldn't be very worried.
I'm not either.
He's a running back, man. It's easier. It's not, learning curve is not as big. If it was a QB, it'd be different, but I'm not overly concerned. It's just like I said, all it's going to need is whoever the 35th pick was, they're going to sign, and then it's going to be an easy trickle down. Unless they sign for a guaranteed 100%, then it's like, oh shit. But something's got to give. I don't know if anybody in the chat has any news like of other second rounders or somebody that might have maybe signed. I probably would have been on. Schefter probably would have talked about it. But yeah,
I'll try and keep my Twitter open. So
it's stupid because it's dumb because like it really isn't. It's not like it's that much money anyways. Like the cap hits are nothing for these players. So if you have to eat the dead cap, but it's like setting the precedent, just like you said, for moving forward. So that's all it really is, I think.
If Harvey was holding out by himself, then I could see it affecting something. But if the whole second round is not signed, it's not like you're gonna blame him for it. So I just don't. Yeah, the position I think they already had in mind. I think he wants probably to sign just as bad as anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to be sitting at home. So it's just the agents being like, we can't be the first one, blah blah blah. So
I think my prediction is all these guys get guaranteed deals. in the second round. That's my prediction. We'll see. If the Union's able to win this one, it's going to be.
I can see the Browns being like, "Well, we had you as a first-round grade, so we'll guarantee it," and they just fucking screw everything up.
I was going to say, after what happened to Judkins this weekend, imagine he's the next one to sign like a fully guaranteed deal. That would be such a Browns thing to do.
Yeah, actually, this. I wonder if this impacts the amount of guaranteed money he gets. I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
What a mess.
I will take a different angle on the RJ Harvey thing, though. Like, even though he's a running back and you don't really develop, like, who you are as a running back is kind of how you come into the NFL. Is like for rookies especially, there's still like a bit of a curve no matter the position you play. So you want him to feel good. Ideally, you want him to get as much time to learn the offense as much as possible. You want him to not be behind the 8 ball, which I think if it comes down to it, I think all these guys will be in the building. I think they'd all prefer to be in the building, but yeah, it's just about the agents. It seems like it's just a huge dick measuring contest between all the agents right now and the teams. And it's just like, well, we don't have these guys showing up to your whatever. And I don't know. I think the owners usually get what they want in these situations.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it all plays out as I'm updating our thumbnail and title. We'll go ahead and get to Eli's super chat here, and then we'll get into the fun game, starting with Kodiak's Karma. Y'all be sure stick around and engage with us for that. Says, guys, I know this is a Broncos show, but Mark is going to hear this all tomorrow. How about them Jets, baby? Sauce and Garrett Wilson. Hey, the Muji influence from here in Denver. I'm freaking stoked right now. We'll start with Mark and kind of go around the horn. But, yeah, what were y'all's thoughts on the Jets' moves today? Locking up some court.
Eli, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it a lot tomorrow, man, on the tea time when I'm whooping your ass on the course. But I was thinking about you today. Yes, dude. I think that there's a lot of Muji influence doing a lot of what George Payton did here, extending his core guys, getting those guys contracts. Definitely cool to see by the Jets, very un-Jet-like. Or at least when they do that, they'll usually do it with like guys outside of the organization. So I think it's a good culture builder. Garrett Wilson, I think he's a stud, worth the contract. Sauce Gardner as well. He's not PS2. Get out of my comments, everybody. But he's still very, very good. Especially, man, if they made pass interference illegal or like legal, I guess he would be an absolute shutdown corner. He'd be the best cornerback of all time because that's what he does. But no, man, I think it's awesome. Good for them. I hope Justin Fields works out. I'll be rooting for the Jets low key. Well, a little bit, but that's my take.
I think they just again, we're talking about franchises that kind of have to do certain things. They have they're the Jets. They kind of have to do this. And whether it turns out to be good contracts or bad contracts, it doesn't really matter at this point because you need to send the message that we're going to reward certain guys. So, you kind of didn't have a choice. It's exciting. I'm happy you're excited that you got your guys. So that's the key thing. I hope they, help and contribute. But the Jets had to do this. If they would have done anything other than this, they would have been entering Brown territory. So.
Yeah, as far as what Darren Boogie's done so far, I've been very impressed with him this offseason. You can tell he comes from the George Payton tree because that's now a thing when it comes to executives in the NFL, where you reward your guys, especially early on. You get above the market value curve. But also, let's not forget, Darren Boogie made Aaron Rodgers fly cross-country just to tell him that you're not playing quarterback for us. So I could not love this guy anymore. The Jets are my second favorite team now that Rodgers is off them, now that Hackett's off them. And, yeah, overall, I hope they have success this upcoming year, and I hope Moogie becomes a really good GM.
Dude,
and they got Armand Membu, man. That was a hell of a pick.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'll be rooting for the Jets too, man. There are a lot of good Jets YouTubers that I like watching, but enough about the Jets, dude. This is freaking horsepower hour, man. Let's get into it, Kodiak. We're gonna talk about Kodiak's Karma now. What you got cooking up for us, man?
All right, guys. So since it is one more week until we have literally nothing to talk, or we have pretty much nothing to talk about for at least another week. Maybe we'll talk about the Barron stuff a little more. But I want to revisit some Broncos things that happened within the past few years. Even though we're out of hell, I want to take us back to hell for a minute, even though I know that that's not something that a lot of this fan base wants to experience. So I'm ready to fight with you guys on this thing. Okay, FS1, they fired a bunch of their people today, so we need to replace the debate style that's taking over in sports media in general. Even though we don't really like that format, we don't support that format. Screw it, it's the horsepower hour. We have one more week till training camp. One more week until we can, reminisce on all this stuff. So I'm ready to shoot from the hip, and I will ask any of you three individually about all these. So first things first, the floor is open. Floor is open. Whoever would like to fight me on this, I am open for business. I still, to this day, will not defend the Broncos starting Teddy Bridgewater over Drew Lock in 2021. Floor is open.
Wait, so you liked them? You'd rather have them beat start Drew Lock? Or
yeah, I thought. Okay. Yeah,
I'm not gonna fight you. I'm not gonna. This is not my one to fight because I agree,
dude. I'll dabble in this, man. Let's go. Right. Let's go toe to toe. So, we fired Rich Scangarello, right? Mm-hmm. After Drew Lock's impressive, what do you have? 6 starts, 5-6 starts his rookie year. After we sat Joe Flacco, looked promising. But as a second round pick, as a non-first round pick, I'll say this, man. We should have just fully moved off of Drew Lock after just bringing in Pat Shurmur, because we brought in an offensive coordinator that preferred Daniel Jones over Drew Lock. That was all we needed to know, man, that this relationship was not going to work out. So, I'm lying to you if I'm not saying I wanted Drew Lock to be the guy, man. I really did. But when you took away an offensive coordinator that he played well with after his rookie year, it just made no sense. So at that point, maybe you should have just done it with ran with Teddy the whole time.
It was the obvious move, bro.
Like what? Sorry.
It was the obvious move to start Teddy that year. It was obviously going to happen. The big mistake they made was not drafting a quarterback. Even though, yes, it led to PS2. I get it. But philosophically, that was all dumb. But let me tell you, so Drew Lock showed a lot of promise with Scangarello, right? Played well, had a pretty decent season. Then the following year, they gave him his opportunities, and he was dog shit. He would always, fumble in the end, and he'd fumble games away, literally. I went to that stupid Bengals game. I went to every game we lost. That was poor. He didn't show a lot of promise. And Fangio was, first of all, he was in a position where he knew his job was on the line, and he needed to go with the safest quarterback because he was confident that he can get the defense right. Teddy Bridgewater, proven vet, safe, gave them the best chance to win that year. He definitely did. So I feel like it made a lot of sense. But in hindsight, it's also one of those things where you got to just squeeze every single bit of juice out of the lemon, for lack of better terms, in terms of what you can do with Drew Lock. But Drew Lock was set up for failure from the beginning. He was taken in the second round. Broncos didn't really love him that much. They just kind of settled for him. It was obvious from that point. So I feel like, yeah, it's easy to look back on it and say they for sure should have started Drew Lock over Teddy, but it was pretty obvious that Teddy was a better quarterback. But if you're going to go down this route, I would agree with you. We should have started Drew Lock and lost more games to get ourselves a better position in the draft. That's what we should have done. Because all Teddy Bridgewater did was keep us in the Pittsburgh Steelers territory of football purgatory at the time.
Now that we're talking about this, the direction this should have gone is that we shouldn't have even drafted Drew Lock, man. What we should have done, and what I wanted the Broncos to do, was to draft Dwayne Haskins, man, in the first round. He showed up in that John Elway jersey, ready to play. Now, with as dysfunctional as our organization was, would that have been the spot for him to thrive? I don't know. I was also a guy that liked Josh Rosen, so a broken clock is right twice a day with Bo Nix, right? But that's what we should have done, man. We should have picked Dwayne Haskins, man. I think he would have been fun. And who knows? A lot of this is just dependent on where these guys go. Who knows? Maybe his career would have been better off out here in Denver. I don't know.
maybe. But now you all make
R.I.P. Dwayne Haskins also, by the way.
Yes, R.I.P. Dwayne Haskins. But now that I've heard like all your arguments, like even before the 2021 season began, I was pissed when we started when we started Teddy Bridgewater over Drew Lock. Reason I say that, I knew Teddy Bridgewater. We all knew that Teddy Bridgewater was a low upside. I wouldn't even say low risk. Like he felt to me like a medium risk quarterback, and he only won us one game that whole year. Now there is something to be said, and it was week 1 against the Giants. Like he played really, really well that game. That being said, there is something to be said about, he didn't lose us the Cowboys game. He didn't lose us like a few other games, but one of the Broncos reporters said that they had went 7-5 in games that Teddy started and finished, but you forget we had no passing game that year. It was all just handing off to Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. We were passing for like 150 yards a game. And the 2 games where Teddy Bridgewater did leave due to injury, like we had 0 points at halftime against Baltimore and 3 points at halftime against the Bengals. And I will never forget Teddy Bridgewater leaving the Bengals game and Drew Lock coming in and instantly throwing a touchdown pass to Tim Patrick and the entire vibe of the building changing. That's just all I'll say about that. Like Drew Lock, not it whatsoever. But I think Teddy Bridgewater gets a lot of love from this fan base, despite the fact that he accomplished like nothing here.
It's because he didn't have his mom sticking up for him.
Yeah. Like Locke, I get why the coaching staff was off him, especially after the COVID thing, like where they all placed their masks and tracking devices in the corner of the room. But yeah. All right.
Yeah. What a joke.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback on your point, Kodiak, like Teddy Bridgewater was not ever like his ceiling of all ceilings was 8-8. Like, what's the point of that? The fact to me was Fangio was scared. He was living in his fears. He didn't want to go he was scared of Drew Lock throwing crazy picks. But it's like, if you make the selection in the second round, either don't pick him or pick him and give him a shot. That's how I feel about it. And picking him and then sitting him where the whole fan base is like, play him or don't. I think the whole fan base is like, I'm fine with him not succeeding if we see it. But him sitting on the bench and then seeing glimpses every once in a while is infuriating. Just live or die off of your decisions that you made in the draft. To me, that was so infuriating. I think Elway was trying to I'm going to let my coaches coach. They get to pick the team, which I understand that. But I would have had the conversation of we got to give this kid a chance. We have to empower him. Drew Lock didn't have the same offensive coordinator and offensive play caller like Bo Nix didn't his whole college career. And then he did the exact same thing in the pros. That is not how you bring someone along. That is the way you set someone up for failure. They should have supported him a lot better than that. And if he failed, he failed. That's fine. We can all accept that. But don't tease us and be like, oh, well, maybe. And then give us a guy who's the middle of all middles, less than middle, in my opinion. We were going nowhere with
I'm not going to take Teddy slander, bro.
Oh, I'll slander him all day. We were going nowhere.
Went to sleep. That dude literally went to sleep on a football field for Broncos country, bro. He put his heart and his soul into it.
That's all he could do. That's all he could do.
And then a couple weeks later, he avoided tackling somebody off of a pick six or something. Everybody come at him.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
I was like, okay, if you're the franchise, you can avoid doing that. But man, if you're a bridge quarterback, dude, you got to get in there. You got to get in there.
Freaking name is Bridge, dude. If that's not the all-time tell, that's exactly what he is. He's built like a ballerina and he's a bridge quarterback. You can't take a hit. He's that's what it was. Let's just be honest about it. He's a perfect guy to bring up and back up if you need somebody come in for 2 or 3 games just to right the ship. But to have him be your starter, no, dude. That's where I thought, oh, Vic Fangio's is genius and you're going to play Teddy Bridgewater? What are we doing? I could tell you well before the season started what's going to happen.
Happy birthday. That was the funniest presser I've probably heard in Broncos ever.
Dude, Vic Fangio hated Drew Lock.
It's Drew Lock's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
He said, oh, yeah, it's Teddy's birthday. And they said, oh, yeah, happy birthday to him. He said, oh, yeah, he didn't say happy birthday. He said, oh, yeah. He's he came out and he goes, I just want to say happy birthday to Teddy. It's his birthday today. I just everybody wants you to know. And then somebody goes, isn't it Drew Lock's birthday too? And he's like, oh, yeah.
It is.
Oh yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah,
Didn't we
dude.
lose Sutton that year too? So that was a rough year. We lost
Oh,
Sutton, if I remember.
It was his first year off the ACL. We lost Judy week 1.
Oh.
I remember.
Now, I got one more thought on this. I'm sorry, Kodiak, but
No,
I
you're good.
just got to ask, everything's kind of jumbled up from like 2016 to through 2023. It's just kind of all there. But I don't know what drugs he was on, when he dressed up as Woody from Toy Story, whether he was like doing Molly or like cocaine
It
or
was
something like
synthetic
that.
weed.
If Chad Kelly does not do allegedly the Molly, the cocaine, whatever it was, was he going to be our bridge quarterback? Was he going to start a year for us, in Broncos country? Was he going to be better than some of these guys, man? I think he's like the highest paid CFL quarterback right now.
I mean, maybe, because I remember during the 2018 year when a lot of people were mad at Keenum, a lot of people around the time that incident happened were like, you know what? Maybe the best quarterback on the roster is the third string quarterback. Because I remember it was somebody else. I can't remember who was backing him up that year, but I know somebody who was at that Halloween party, and she said it got a little crazy. I don't think I can talk on air about anything that went on. She doesn't know exactly what Chad Kelly took, but yeah, no, it was maybe.
Yeah,
but the fact that this guy had behavior issues all through college, it just made me think that it wasn't going to happen.
It didn't matter if it was that night or if it was a year later. He's the no offense to Chad Kelly, but he's the perfect example of like $100 like talent with a nickel head. Like just always, you can never trust him. And this is again, Robert is saying exactly the truth. Like we should be so appreciative. We've gone through the Fangio and Drew Locks and Teddy Bridgewaters and Chad Kellys because it shows you how happy and how grateful you should be right now to have Bo Chapman Nix as your quarterback, because he's got all the talent on Chad Kelly. But he's everything you want to be as far as his head too, his leadership, all that stuff. It's just so nice to be out of that football purgatory of looking for a quarterback. My God, that decade was just absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Now it just makes a good July discussion point. Thank God.
I'm still mad about it.
It does. And honestly, I had a couple other questions, but to be completely honest, I don't want to hog like the whole show. And like, I don't know. I thought that was really, really fun. So we can just forego the other questions I had and maybe look at them another time. So that basically does it for Kodiak's Karma. Maybe I'll dig them up later. But overall, that was a really, really fun second quarter. So thank you guys.
I agree. I like that one, Kodiak.
I actually got like anxiety thinking about that quarterback battle.
Oh, I hate it, dude.
Like I literally got the heebie-jeebies.
Oh, dude,
Thank
the
God.
fan. They would run those commercials.
Teddy or Lock.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Man. Just
Simeon or Paxton.
yeah.
I never thought it was a quarterback battle, ever. I thought Locke was going to be the starter until, like, we heard, like, rumblings, and then 2 weeks before the season began, I was just like, oh, no.
That's because you have common sense, Alex.
Dude, the best thing about that whole thing was, like, they would talk about training camp practices, and they would be like, I think Teddy won the day-to-day because he looked a little bit less shitty than Locke did.
Yeah,
It's pretty much was the barometer. It wasn't like he looked great. They were like, he didn't fuck up as badly, so he won the game. I think
But
he had 2 completions.
Do you remember the first preseason game that year where Drew Lock threw an absolute piss missile against the Vikings to KJ Hamler on like the first play of the game? I did,
and unfortunately for him, Teddy had a really big game too. I think.
Yeah, I remember that. I
was like, damn it. Like, because I was like, I just want this shit settled. And I will say at the time, I was certainly like, yes, we should start Drew Lock. But I knew we weren't going to, because coaches coach for their jobs. And there was no way old man Vic was going to just roll out with Lock. He wasn't going to go down that way. So
there was a rumor that he hated him because of the arm sleeve.
Oh my God.
That's true.
I can see that. He's like really, he's a really weird dude. He would even care. He won the Super Bowl and he wasn't even that happy.
Yeah.
He's just a very strange human.
Yeah.
Like, to me,
Grandpa Vic.
I don't know what's going on at maybe Locke wasn't studying. Maybe he wasn't like picking up stuff mentally. Maybe there's a lot of stuff that we don't get to see that like internally they were like, oh shoot, we don't like this. But I will say this about sports is like there is such thing as a gamer. And if like certain people can do all the right things in practice, and then when the pressure's on in the game, they shrivel. And then there's other people that will be like effing around in practice, but then you put them on the biggest stage and they freaking perform. So like, that's what I wanted to see. I don't like I'll let the rubber hit the road with whoever you have, and let's just see, because Drew Lock would get in there and then all of a sudden he'd have some throws that you're just like, holy crap. Like, this is exactly why you got drafted. And then they're like, but yeah, you had a rough practice again. It's like, who gives a practice? We talking about practice, not the game. That's the Allen Iverson quote. Like, dude, what matters, the game or the practice? Like, that's all I'm saying. It's just like, that's why I just wanted to see it. And that's what was so frustrating.
Yeah. Overall, like, I don't know. Thank you guys. That was a really, really fun segment. But now we have another judge who's presiding over these debates. And now we are going to be in Marky's
What a
courtroom.
segue.
Yeah.
That was
What
the
a
best segue I've ever
What
heard
a
on this show.
segue, bro. God damn. If the fan is listening or Fox Sports is listening, you need a replacement. You got your guy right there. Yes,
Yeah,
man.
fire
So
that
this
guy
is Marky's.
Merrill at.
This is Marky's courtroom coming out of halftime. This is going to be a fun one today. So this is how it's going to go. I'm going to give like a hot take. Like, for example, Drew Lock versus Teddy. But I'm going to choose who's going to defend one side and who's going to defend the other side. And then the third person is going to be the jury. They're going to be the one that gives you their opinion. But I'm going to ultimately make the final decision as to who wins and who loses.
Marky's the
Because
Supreme
it's
Court.
my fucking courtroom. Yeah. So that being the case, my take is that the Broncos should trade for Juwan Jennings. Kodiak, you have to defend this and say that they should. And David, you must say, no, they should not.
And I'm the jury?
Debate. And you're the jury,
Okay.
Jeremy.
All right.
Which is basically worthless in my courtroom because
Right,
I
since
ultimately
you're-
make the decision.
Do you want the protagonist to go first or last? Or
I don't know what that is. No, it doesn't matter. Go ahead. You can go first.
all right. So Juwan Jennings is the perfect Sean Payton wide receiver. Do you remember what he had done like a year and 4 months ago, 5 months ago? If the 49ers win that game, he is the Super Bowl MVP. First of all, he comes from the Shanahan tree where he blocks his tail off. He comes from, a very high effort-based offense where, quite frankly, Kyle Shanahan, it doesn't care. It doesn't matter how talented you are. You saw Juwan Jennings honestly almost usurp Ayuk even after they paid him a bag this past year because of everything, with the holdout. And then when Ayuk finally did get going, they kind of kept this thing going with Juwan Jennings. But either way, I think Juwan Jennings is a certain type of Sean Payton wide receiver, very physical, very high effort, and you would just get an adult in the room. I don't know what the cost would be capital-wise, but yeah, that's where I could see it making sense for the Broncos to trade for him.
All right, you done?
Yeah.
All right, great. All right. Juwan Jennings, man, it's a nice story. Everybody loves Rudy. I'm just playing. He's a lot better than Rudy, but I spelled his name wrong. I'll have to correct that. I'm sorry about that. But
yeah. He does spell it like an asshole. So
here's the thing. This man had no target competition last year at all. Of course, okay, George Kittle, I think he played most of their games, but you had Deebo Samuel, reincarnated as the second coming of Eddie Lacy last year. He wasn't really that big of a deal. You had Brandon Ayuk out most of the year with ACL, this man, and he had a really good year, 975 yards, a little bit less than Cortland Sutton. Okay.
in 13 games, by the way.
Yeah. I got 15 games.
Well, maybe it was 15, but whatever. Less games.
I got 15 games right now. But here's the thing, man. This is what nobody is talking about. This guy is gonna want even more money than Cortland Sutton, and he's probably gonna produce similar to Cortland Sutton on our team, right? So why would we give up a draft pick and even more money? Well, because he's a little bit younger. Okay.
All right. So order in the courtroom, people. So let's say this, just to make this more even. If you're saying he's gonna want more money than Cortland, but he's gonna produce just as much, do you just trade Cortland for him straight up?
Oh, well,
Because
I
it
can't
only
be on
really
that
makes
side.
sense
I
in
can't
that
argue that side.
scenario.
I can't
Go.
argue that side.
You have to figure it out, bro.
Okay, well, the reason I say yes is because I was assigned this part, but also you get to basically go 2 years younger on your player, and you get a very similar caliber of wide receiver. I know that Juwan Jennings is more likely to play that, like, I don't know, Pat Bryant, Devon Bailey role, where he might cause a little bit of a logjam. But quite frankly, if you have to pay him as much as Courtland Sutton, or do you have to pay him more, or does he produce more than Courtland Sutton? I forget your question.
My question?
No. So, like, you have to pay him more than Sutton, right?
Well, not necessarily, because you're going to factor in the Courtland Sutton extension too.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, Bo Nix, why not give him as many weapons as possible to succeed? Like, that's basically how I feel. And yeah, it might cause a little bit of a logjam there, but
Nah, no.
All right, Jeremy, who won it, bro?
This is not what we do.
I do need a gavel.
The day before rookie minicamp or rookie train camp's going to start. When has this ever happened where you trade an offense's number one weapon for their quarterback, just straight up replacing them with another wide receiver? What, 6 weeks before the season starts? What kind of brains are we operating with, man? When has that ever worked out? When has that ever been done?
Is Juwan Jennings a wide receiver one?
No.
But he will produce just as much as Courtland Sutton, who is our wide receiver one.
I mean, do we get more?
I love being the devil's advocate. It's so fun.
I mean, do we get more consistency? Because that's the problem with Courtland Sutton, is that he makes the hard shit look easy, but the easy shit look hard.
Very true.
Do we get like
All
better
right.
down-to-down consistency? Maybe.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Jeremy, who do you think won the battle?
Even though I have my opinion on this,
Wait, release the Epstein files. All right, does that help my side?
Never mind, it's David.
David won.
I'm gonna say Alex won, just because I felt like his heart was more in it.
David was so fucking funny though.
He was funnier though. That's true.
I was dying.
The Epstein thing put him over the top. Let's be honest.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
All right. We'll give it to David. We'll give it to David just because Kodiak just shit on everybody in all my games for the last 2 weeks. So I'm not giving him any more points.
So thank you for the handout. That's what I need. So.
You got it, man. You got it. All right, here's another one. Kodiak, now you are going to be the jury, and we're going to have Jeremy and David argue this point, and this is going to be really fun. And I'm doing this on purpose for a reason. So The Broncos don't need to add at tight end after the Evan Engram signing. So as the room currently stands, the Broncos are good. We don't got to worry about tight end. Jeremy, you are going to argue that you are against this. You do not think. You think we need to add. And David, we know he's going to have a ball with this one, is going to have to say, Mark, you're right. We don't got to add a tight end.
So David goes first.
So I go first?
Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Go ahead, David. Go ahead. Unless you want to go.
All right. I mean, this is easy. The Broncos have 2 starting caliber tight ends on their roster right now, being Evan Engram and Adam Troutman. That is the argument someone used with me on Twitter. I thought it would work a little bit more, but it did not. So we will continue on. Adam Troutman,
I was just really confused.
He can catch. He can run a little bit. He at least knows the offense. Adding another tight end right now. Adam Troutman might be better than Gerald Everett at this point. But the most important thing is that you do not want to create a logjam on the depth chart to where you are prohibiting Caleb Lohner.
Finally, I was waiting.
Getting on the field. This guy has a RAS score of like 12 out of 10. Don't cite me on that, but that's how athletic this man is. He's 6'7". He can run like a 4, for whatever dash. He's got an insane reach. Every time he catches a pass in college, he catches a touchdown. This man has been compared by Sean Payton himself to Jimmy Graham. Why the hell are we going to bring in some middling tight end that can't even get on a roster right now and prevent him from getting on the field, man? No way. No way.
Jeremy?
Are you done? No, I'm just kidding. Of course you need to add more to the tight end room. Are you out of your mind? Like, Adam Troutman is your big, like, oh, we got Adam Troutman, everybody. Like, call off the dogs. We're set for life. Like, we got Adam Troutman. And Caleb Lohner, I'm sorry. I'm very excited about Caleb Lohner. That is a lottery among lottery tickets. He's played 50 games in college for, like, Utah. Like, yeah, he might be able to box somebody out in the red zone. I hope so. But, like, we're one injury away, one hit away from being Adam Troutman, Kroll, if he even makes the team, and Lohner, your lottery pick. Dude, of course, like, how disappointed was everybody that we didn't get a tight end in the draft after we had signed Evan Engram?
Oh, whoops.
Everybody.
He just raised his hand. Yeah.
I mean, we wanted one in the first round. We wanted Ferguson in the second round. We wanted
I wanted like 7 guys in the
Mason
second round.
Taylor. We wanted Aronde Gadsden. We wanted how many guys? Like, we literally the whole draft were like, who's the next tight end on the board? Who's the next tight end on the board? You don't do that if you feel like you're set at tight end. Period.
All right.
Case closed.
Kodiak, any thoughts as the jury?
I felt like Jeremy was a tad bit more pragmatic, so I'm going to give it to him. But I thought, you know what? You guys both made really good points. I mean, Caleb Lohner, yes, he is the lottery ticket amongst all lottery tickets. But, man, he is going to catch, let's say, 10 touchdowns this year. So I agree with David, too. But I'll give the argument to Jeremy.
I'm not going to lie. I think Eli kind of settled it for us in the chat. I was looking at it. He said, I mean, listen to them. They want Caleb Lohner to get touches, which is funny because that is true. If you're banking on Caleb Lohner, the power forward, to get touches, you've got a problem at tight end. But obviously, we're trying our best to make arguments. I think we would all agree that we need to add to this tight end room.
And he absolutely hates how he runs his routes right now, for what it's worth. He absolutely hates it. But, you know, I thought he was flying. I thought he was flying. I thought he looked great out there.
Well, you thought he was fluid, right?
You saw him box out McKinney.
Yeah, he was boxing everybody out. But, yeah, you know, it's a great point here. You know, we were talking about Lucas Kroll this way last year. But what numbers Caleb Lohner wearing?
84.
Dude, why are we even having this debate, dude?
That's the end of be all.
Put him on the field.
And he's going to keep that. That's it. That was his number in college. I don't know what the hell he wore when he played basketball, but
yeah, man.
Who was 84 last year?
Little Jordan Humphrey.
That's right.
Oh, Little Jordan was. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
I hated him so much I didn't even give a shit what number he wore.
God, he was terrible.
Andy, do you hate the Caleb Lohner pick? I can't remember, but you know, you're definitely shitting on him well tonight.
Well, yeah, because Manungai was there. There was a couple other dudes in the 7th round that were there. And we said, nah, we need to punt the ball well. And we need to get somebody for Nikola Jokic. In case, you know, they need some help there with the Nuggets. But, you know, shout out to them. They did their thing. All right. I'm going to give that one to Jeremy for the same reasons that the jury had decided. This one's going to be really fun. So, David, you are now. You know what? I feel bad leaving you out of this one, but the last one, I do have something for all 3. So this is going to be really good. All right. So my argument is that, and also this is just made up arguments. I don't actually feel this way about these, so don't judge me. But even though this one I might, Peyton Manning is better than Tom Brady. And Jeremy, you are going to have to say, yes, Peyton Manning is better. And Kodiak, you are going to have to say, no, Tom Brady is better than Peyton Manning. Debate.
Okay. Peyton Manning had he went to the Colts when they were like the worst team in the league. He basically had to take that entire franchise and strap them to his back, and he had to figure it out mentally. How many people quarterbacks have gone into the worst team in the league and been able to carry them to a Super Bowl win and multiple Super Bowl appearances? Maybe John Elway is it. I mean, Tom Brady had such the system, wasn't even going to be a starter, came in, had Belichick's defense his whole career. Then he had amazing players, Gronkowski's and all these other people. And I'm sorry, but like you had great players with Peyton Manning, the Marvin Harrisons, but are they the same without Peyton Manning? Are they going to Hall of Fame? I don't think so. And then Peyton Manning gets hurt. He has a neck injury. And what happens? They win one freaking game, get the number 1 draft pick. Peyton Manning can't even feel his fingers, signs with Denver, immediate Super Bowl contenders, should have went to 3 more Super Bowls. Again, the Broncos went from Tim Tebow barely making the playoffs to Super Bowl contenders with a guy who was like really broken at that point and carried us all the way. Had the greatest offensive season of all time with newish players. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're talking about brain for brain and actual talent, Peyton Manning's better. If you put here's the only question I have for you. If you put Peyton Manning with Bill Belichick, his whole career, how is that going to look?
So the one thing I will say against that, Bill Belichick, I believe, is very far below 500 without Tom Brady. So I think Peyton Manning being better than Tom Brady argument argues very heavily to me on hypotheticals. Like, where I think Peyton Manning has Tom Brady beat is, the peak seasons. Obviously Peyton Manning had some amazing years throughout his career. And obviously those were insane. It was magical to witness as Broncos fans. But where Tom Brady hasn't beat is playoff success. And that's what matters at the end of the day. Tom Brady not only hasn't beat with playoff success and longevity, but, Tom Brady, he also went to a team and it immediately flipped them into Super Bowl contenders. Granted, they were a very, very good team. Like, they had all the structural pieces in place, but who's to say we didn't either? Like, going into the 2012 year, we had a really, really good defense. We had the Decker, Demarius, receiving core, and only added to it with Wes Welker and Emmanuel Sanders. So it's not like Manning came into like a middling. Yes, I guess we were middling at the time, but so was Tampa Bay. Like, they were 7-9 the year before with Jameis, and Tom Brady was what really put him over the top. So the fact that he did that with not one but 2 teams, not one but 2 head coaches, and it just was symbolized to me in the Patriots documentary. The Patriots documentary, all the players said, "We worked for Bill, but we won for Tom." That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, but you still had Bill's brain. That's the point.
This is too fun. So this is what we're gonna do. David, I'm curious. Like, in real life, who do you think is better, Tom Brady or Peyton Manning?
Real life. This is horsepower hour.
No, in real. I know, but in real life, who do you think? What's your actual opinion on that?
My actual opinion isn't nearly as funny, but I gotta go with Tom Brady, man. I gotta go with
Perfect.
Tom Brady.
All right. So now it's teams. It's me and Jeremy versus David and Kodiak. And here's a couple more points I have to make.
Yep.
I look at Tom Brady. I look at his. I couldn't help myself. I love this debate because it really just depends on how you look at it. Tom Brady is like the biggest like anomaly in all of sports because he was not good for the first 10 years of his career, but he was unbelievable the last 20 years of his career, really. And that's what makes his 7 rings like a little bit flawed in a way. Like, if somebody's gonna be like, he's got 7 rings, he's the GOAT, that's not the only reason he would be considered the GOAT. Because those 3 Super Bowls, he did nothing. Literally, he did nothing. He had an unbelievably dominant defense. He had a special teams unit that was like head and shoulders above everybody. His starting field position was on average throughout his career 10 yards better than any other quarterback during the stretch of his entire career. He's had a top 10 defense in, I think it was 11 of the first 12 years that he was in New England. He had unbelievable kickers that made the craziest kicks at the craziest times. So there's a lot of that. So like early on in his career really wasn't all that special. And I think that's when like Belichick was in his prime, and then Belichick really started to fall off, but Brady just absolutely took off and kind of took it over. So that's where it gets a little bit different. The thing about Peyton is Peyton Manning was the guy that you can put Peyton Manning on any team in the NFL, guaranteed 100% that team's going to the playoffs.
Yes.
No doubt about it at any point in his career. The 0-16 Lions, they're going to the playoffs. He's the sheriff for a reason. You can't necessarily say that was the case with Brady early on, but what makes it such a difficult debate is that Tom Brady kind of has that like the LeBron factor in the sense of like he just did not age. He got like some of his best seasons later on in his career after playing a lot. But yeah, man, I think Peyton Manning, no debate. Come on, there's a debate. There's a big debate here. Peyton Manning, when it comes to just the sheer running an entire offense and doing everything and compensating for bad head coaches or bad OCs or bad defenses or no run game, he did it all.
And I will say this, just to add to the end of that, when it came down and Peyton Manning had a great defense, you got to see who was better in the AFC Championship and what happened, who came out victorious, the Denver Broncos. And that was in the absolute twilight of his career. So head to head, I like Tom Brady's the most decorated. That's not up for debate. Tom Brady's clutch. Tom Brady is an amazing winner. But like if you're starting a franchise from scratch and you don't have any other pieces and you have the chance to pick Tom Brady or Peyton Manning to start and they're rookies, I'm taking Peyton Manning, and that's why I think he's better.
All right. I need to get in on this. All right. Yeah. You can say that Manning did this, did that, whatever, man. But did Manning go to a team during the COVID year where they had no practices and bring his team to the Super Bowl? Did he win a Super Bowl? Wow. What other quarterback could win a Super Bowl when his wife was banging her karate coach? No.
It's a good point.
I don't know of another quarterback that could do that. I don't know of another quarterback. We saw this with Aaron Rodgers. Can you still be the GOAT after you join a cult? Tom Brady did that, and he won more Super Bowls after doing that. Manning had it easy.
Had it easy because he didn't have to deal with COVID because he was already retired.
He didn't have to deal with COVID. He didn't have to deal with his wife leaving him for a karate coach. He didn't have to, deal with some of the, joining a cult, the TB12 cult. Did he possibly create that? It's not his fault. He had to deal with all these other things and a terrible head coach, right?
Who's
a terrible
Bill
coach?
Belichick, right? He
Wait.
carried Bill Belichick. That's part of my argument right
Oh,
now.
okay.
Right? Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about Carey though.
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And all that to say, I don't know, man. He looks like a Team America character now, and I just think that's cool. So,
yeah. All right. Well, my bad. My segment went a lot longer. I do gotta hop off a little bit early. I had to get involved in that debate. That was too fun. But what I will say is that if you think it's Manning or Brady, you can make the debate for either one. And just like what the segment was supposed to prove is that really you can always make an argument for like takes even if you disagree with them if you kind of had to.
Yeah.
But as long as you are like good in your in how you're feeling. My thing is too is I had a lot more. I knew it was going to go a lot longer, so we are going to save that for next week. And I'm going to pass the mic off to. Is it you, Jeremy? You're going to off-season? Yeah. Off-season reflections. I'll add it. And when I go, I'm just going to like peace out. So I'm not going to like be all formal. So I will see y'all next week.
okay.
right.
And thank you. And just so you know, it was my job to defend my clients. So I actually do think, I would pick Peyton Manning, but it is freaking close. It is like, whiskers.
Now I'm on the John Elway agenda.
I agree. I made a comment on Alex's video. I'm picking Elway first over anybody personally, but that's me. All right. Off-season reflections. We're going to do real quick. I'm going to start with Mark because he got to go. I just thought since it's the last kind of week where we don't have anything to talk about, I want to get to know our Horsepower Hour hosts a little more. Give me your all-time. We'll start with Mark. Give me your all-time, or I'm going to give you the first two questions, and then we'll go back. All-time best vacation you ever had, Mark?
Oh, man. Me and my cousin Greg went to Thailand, and it was awesome. It was a beautiful trip. It was kind of like we booked it sporadically out of nowhere. Unbelievable. I was able to ride an elephant, which was always like on the bucket list. But then I felt really bad when I did it, and I'll never do it again because it's awful what they do to them. But yeah, Thailand was the best trip I've ever been on.
Thailand, nice. So was that kind of
highly recommended?
Was that kind of like what's the show? Gosh, I'm blanking. They just went to Thailand on HBO. White Lotus situation. Did you watch that?
Oh.
No.
Okay, we'll leave it there then, because they get into some crazy stuff on that show, but it's a good one. Okay, to go to the next question, I'll come back to you guys, Alex and David. What was your very first Broncos memory?
Oh, positive or just in general?
Just in general. First thing you can ever remember about the Denver Broncos.
Mark Brunell and the Jaguars beating us in 96 when we were supposed to three-peat. It would have ended up being a three-peat because we won 97, 98. Definitely the first time I ever cried during a sports game. Obviously, I was like 6 years old at the time. I didn't know why I cared so much, but I was so mad. And I was so upset that I was like begging my parents to change my name from Mark because of Mark Brunell. So that was my first memory ever. And it was all downhill from there.
It was all uphill. I was going to say.
It was uphill, but it was downhill in a sense of now I have this sport that consumes every bit of my life and also controls if I'm going to be happy or not for the whole week. So
okay. I got you.
That's how we roll.
You were addicted at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It captured you. All right. Last question for you before you go. What is your one of my vacations I just went on? I went to Mount Rushmore with my family on a little extended trip. So speaking of Mount Rushmore, give me your modern Mount Rushmore from the year 2000 on. I saw somebody talking about this on X. Who would be your top 4 Broncos on the modern Mount Rushmore?
Oh, that's such a good question. Very good question. So obviously Peyton Manning and Von Miller are going to go on those lists. That's pretty obvious. I would say, I'm going to miss somebody and I'm going to be like, oh, I can't believe I missed them. But there's quite a bit. But I think I'll probably put Demaryius Thomas there at 3. And then number 4, and it's not in any particular order. Number 4, I would say Champ Bailey.
Yep. Okay.
That's my top 4.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's good.
How about I miss anybody? Because I was thinking earlier, really you can forget about like the first almost decade of the 2000s. So that made it a little bit easier.
Well,
Jake the Snake, that's my guy.
I mean, yeah, that was Champ's time, but you also had Rod Smith as well. Just saying. He didn't come into...
Yeah, I'm looking at him like a 90s.
I mean, he definitely started off his career late 90s, but he
played like 2005, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, when he was like setting all the records and did all that, he was doing that for a while into the 2000s. So
yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's thank you, Mark. So
yeah. Mark. All right, fellas. Peace out, man. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate y'all. Later.
All right, David, Alex, which one do you guys want to go first on all-time best vacation you've ever had?
You go first, Kodiak.
All right, so man, you guys are gonna think I'm spoiled rotten when you hear this. So obviously, my family is a big sports family. Like I was born into fandom of many different sports, and even though I don't really watch this sport anymore for obvious reasons, I'm gonna tell you what this was. In 2016, David already knows about this. I was lucky enough to go to the most important championship series, in my opinion, ever played. The Cubs-Indians World Series, when both teams were in 108-year droughts with the Chicago Cubs and 75-year championship droughts with the Cleveland Indians at the time. Because my grandpa is from Ohio, and my dad and my grandpa are from Chicago. Or my dad and my uncle are from Chicago. So, yeah, overall, that was my favorite trip ever.
Very cool.
I know, it was hard for me to think about one that wasn't that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. If that's the one that sticks out, that's it.
being from Illinois, growing up and going to Estes Park every year was like amazing. And then like some of the years, my dad and I, we would spend a day down in Denver to go to training camp. So like that was always fun. So like Estes Park has just a lot of fond memories as a kid.
Yeah.
But my best vacation as an adult was probably in 2000 and man, I forget. I mean, it was like 2018, 2019, went to Los Angeles for like a week. And man, I love LA. I mean, we saved up quite a bit for that vacation, and we went to some restaurants where, you know, the tab was big, but I ate some of the best food I ever had. Like the museums were incredible, and I got like a wicked sunburn from the beach there in Santa Monica. That like I had those tan lines for like 6 months. So
Nice.
yeah, LA. I'm a big fan of LA.
Very cool. Mine real quick. I'll give you two. Like my greatest sports vacation ever. I'm Spanish. We went to Spain for my 30th birthday, me and my best friend, and it was during the World Cup in 2010. And being
Wow.
in Spain
Wow.
while they went on the run to win their first World Cup was so amazing. So the round of 16 game, we're in Madrid. We go to the stadium and we're partying with all the people. They win that game. They beat their arch rival Portugal. I mean, you're partying in the streets all night. It was amazing. And that's the night before my birthday. So like earlier that happens, they win. We walk all the way back, like miles back to like the main square. Everybody's going nuts. Everybody's driving by waving flags. It's amazing. And I turn my birthday like right as that night happens. So that was unbelievable. Next round, we're in Valencia to watch that. We went to that stadium, seeing them, and that went to like the end. And again, so amazing. The semifinal against Germany, we're in Barcelona. We rush to see that. They end up winning that game. Again, party in the streets. I'm supposed to come back on Saturday night or Saturday, and the final World Cup finals on Sunday. And I'm like, there's no freaking way I'm coming back. So I call work. I'm like, not happening. I'm not going to be back on Monday. I need a couple extra days. Whatever. I'm in Spain. Whatever. I have to make this work. And it could have been bad if they would have lost. But that game goes into overtime. I'm watching it in the plaza where like the Olympics were held in Barcelona. They have it on these jumbotrons. It goes into extras. They win. They score with like 5 minutes left in like overtime and extra time. End up winning it. Hoist the cup. We walk back to our hotel. It is mayhem. Everybody's losing their mind. We go in. We walk all the way back to our hotel, which is miles and miles. Grab our stuff. Catch a cab. Go to the airport. Fly back. It was unreal. It was almost like it. I was like, am I living in real life? It was unbelievable. Yes, David Villa, exactly, dude. That was unreal. He was so clutch. And then I will say overall best vacation. We went to Paris for 10 days with my wife before she was my wife. And that was one of the most amazing trips, just to be able to experience a place like that. It was April, and just have no rush and kind of just got to do whatever you wanted all day long. Eat what you wanted, have picnics in the park, not feel like I got to jam 5 things into today, whatever. It was magical. So yeah, that was mine. Okay. Very first Broncos memory. We'll start with David.
Yeah. So my first memory was I was born in 92. So to date myself a little bit. So I was very little when we won the first Super Bowl in 97, but I remember it. I remember my dad cheering, like watching the TV, you know, like after that big hit with Steve Atwater knocking out, was it Tyrone Braxton too? And
it was Randy Hilliard and Robert Brooks.
Oh, okay.
Or no, Hilliard. I'm sorry. He knocked out. Who was it? I don't remember. Yeah, it was Hilliard went out on under, but yes, that play was insane.
And then too, I had for some reason I thought that this was the 97, but I guess it was the 98. So this is an attached memory. But I had this shirt. My dad bought this for me, and yeah, like I could name me and my like older sister. We like would memorize everybody's name on the team. And so like my dad would like always quiz us and stuff like that on like
nice.
who's who and stuff. So this was a really cool shirt. I always remember it. Maybe I should order it for old time's sake. But yeah, this was a cool shirt. They should bring it back.
That is sick.
Yeah, I think I have one. I don't know if I have that exact one, but I have one very, very similar to that where it has all the faces and all the
Oh yeah, I guess this was the first Super Bowl because it was or is that 33? Yeah, I guess the logos were no, it's 32.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, I guess that was the first Super Bowl. So I got that shirt right after then. There we go. Yeah, because they wore the whites in I don't know. I'm rambling. It's the team photo. Doesn't matter.
Alex, what was your very first Broncos memory?
So before I tell you, I just want to say I love soccer, and I would have gone to the World Cup, but I already know tickets are going to be like $20,000 a piece. So I might go to Europe for the Euros in 2028 because
Cool.
I feel like it'd be awesome being around for that.
Yeah.
But first Broncos memory. This one's a little fuzzy for me because my older sister was like a junior Denver Broncos cheerleader for like from like 2004 to like 2007. So I remember going to like, we didn't go to every game, but I remember going to like, I remember bits and pieces, but I swear I didn't gain consciousness until I was like 6 years old because I remember the first game I actually remember being at was the game where Mike Shanahan did the first icing of the kicker because Sebastian Janikowski, I didn't remember the exact result. Like I was still not really that into football. I was more into baseball at that time, which was during the Rocktober run, coincidentally. But I remember I was there. And all I remember was this huge lightning delay. And I just remember the game went like, it felt like forever. Cause I think that was week 2, 2007. Cause they played week 1 in Buffalo when they ran onto the field and did the field goal. But yeah, my first memory is being at that Mike Shanahan icing the kicker game. Like that's the first one I have conscious memory of.
Yeah. Yeah. My first Broncos memory ever was this is really dating myself. I mean, I was like 3 or 4 years old. It was pre-Elway. I just remember, I was born in Greeley, and we lived there till I was literally just like the week I turned 5. And I remember being in our living room. I could barely remember it, but like I remember my dad flipping out because there was a game in like the year before we got Elway where it came down to like a field goal or an extra point or something, and we blocked the kick and returned it, and we ended up winning on it. And my dad was so going nuts about it that I was like, what is happening? Like, why is he so excited about this? So that was the very first. But I will say my first Bronco game ever was Steve Atwater laying out Christian Okoye on Monday Night Football. And
Amazing.
Literally, they're going away from the south stands. They're driving north, the Chiefs are, and Atwater lays that hit. And I moved, we were all kind of on the side, and I moved to like behind the goalpost because it's like back then you could maybe catch like an extra point or a field goal because like the nets weren't up that high. And I was like, all right, I'm going over there. And right when I went over there and found a little spot to stand, that was right when that hit happened. And you could hear the whole stadium. You could hear it. And it was like, oh my gosh. And then it ended up being like probably probably the biggest hit in Broncos history, the most memorable.
Wow. We got a few in the comments.
Yeah.
If want to read through these.
Yeah, let's read some.
Yeah, Big E saying, my first memory was that the Denver Broncos beating I
think beating the tar out.
Oh, yeah, beating the tar out of the Cincinnati Bengals.
I've never heard that.
That voice to text. John Elway going off for like 300 yards. Do you remember that game, Jeremy?
Man, I'm trying to remember what year that would have been. Like, I remember as like laying out some people with Elway, but I don't know what year that would have been.
I posted some highlights I think that he made against the Bengals in 91. Maybe it was part of that.
Oh, okay, so this is back Dan Reeves era.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paul Schaefer saying, I'm from San Diego, so my first memory is probably Elway beating up the Chargers.
Damn
Heck
straight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
it to everybody.
Don Smith saying, my first Broncos memory was being sent to my room for something I did. I remember watching the game through the crack of the door while in trouble.
That's right, Don. You got to get it done any way you can, you know?
I was
Exactly.
like 6.
That's
Yeah.
that's a
Wow.
core memory though.
That's
Like
funny.
I remember being a kid and being in trouble and having the blanket over you, but you like have like this tiny thing and you're still watching. And yep, I totally relate to that.
And wow, more memories here from the womb. I was a fetus and my mom watched the Broncos on Monday Night Football. My first memory of Denver winning the Super Bowl was John Elway throwing the touchdown very first play against the 49ers.
I think you meant being in.
Being in a Super Bowl or playing in a Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the Redskins game actually, where he threw the touchdown on the very first play. And that Super Bowl, we went to a party and I was a little kid and we were, I don't know if I told the story, but like the whole idea was like anytime the Broncos did something well, we were going to call another house in like Washington, D.C. that they were friends with and let it ring once and then hang up. And then, so we're like, oh yeah, call him. And then we scored a touchdown. And then after that play, they beat the freaking brakes off us. And it was just phone call. I was like, unplug it, dude. I'm so sick of hearing it ring. Yeah, that was brutal. But yeah, no, those early Super Bowls were so exciting and then such disappointment at the same time.
Man. Yeah, Don Smith, we got a couple people here that watch the Broncos through the cracks. So I love that.
My sister got to watch the 99 Super Bowl from the womb. In
There you
person.
go.
In person.
Oh,
parents-
like was that the game?
Yeah, my parents and my grandparents were there in Miami.
Dude,
Oh,
that's-
excellent. That's awesome.
I would love to go to a Broncos Super Bowl one day. So hopefully we don't have to wait too much longer for that.
Mm-hmm. And I think the reason we won Super Bowl 50 was because when we went to a watch party at my friend's house, that I wore a lanyard around my neck that had my dad's ticket from the 99 Super Bowl.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't do that during Super Bowl 48, even though I was at the same house.
Yeah.
So next time during the Super Bowl, I'll do the same thing.
Had to
Yeah,
change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Dude, what kind of luck is that? You know, Super Bowl should always be played in good weather. And for some reason, there was this narrative around that Super Bowl should be played in awful winter weather.
I thought it was Super Bowl should be played in New York, even though the stadium's in New Jersey.
Right.
After they built MetLife Stadium, which A, wipes other teams' rosters every single year, and two, I've heard it looks like a gray pit of despair if you go inside of it.
Yeah, that was so unfortunate. I guess all's well that ends well with, the Manning years, but that was such oh my God. The way that year happened for the offense and then for that to happen in the Super Bowl was just like, what the hell? Like, I just didn't see it coming at
Dude,
all.
and we had like half the team on injured reserve by the time we got to the Super Bowl too.
Yeah, I guess that's just John Fox and Adam Gase coaching against Pete Carroll for you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, who was that dude? It was Percy Harvin, dude. I hated
Oh,
Percy Harvin,
he
dude. That guy
destroyed
tore
me.
us up.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, also in the chat, give me yours as well. The modern Mount Rushmore from the year 2000 to the present. Who do you got?
Man. All right. I think I've got 4 names. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So first, I'm pretty much going to copy Mark to a T, but I've got one that you guys are going to be like, wow, you are such a new gen. You guys are going to be like, you are smoking crack, but I don't care. Okay. First, Peyton Manning.
Yep.
Jeremy's GOAT. Actually, no, Elway's your GOAT.
That was my go. Yeah.
Yeah. Peyton Manning, one of the best in NFL history. Gave me some of the best years of my young adult life. Von Miller, what did he do for us? One of the best players in franchise history, and obviously he won us that Super Bowl and had that insane playoff run, and still to this day bleeds orange and blue. Champ Bailey, definition of shutdown corner, definition of no. We're not going to throw his way. Even though Jets fans have wanted to say that Darrelle Revis is better than Champ Bailey, and we're saying that Sauce Gardner is better than Patrick Surtain. I don't know how you can go 0 for 2 in that sort of debate. Now, number 4, there's a lot of good names I want to put on here. And even though he doesn't quite have the longevity, I do put Sean Payton on my Ring of Fame just because they're my Mount Rushmore. And here's why. Sean Payton has done the best turnaround in professional sports, like ever. Think about what we were up against this past year. We were named the least talented roster in the NFL. 2 years ago, we went 5-12, and our roster has been missing 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks because we obviously had to trade for Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. We had to trade for his rights. But you think about what he was up against. $90 million in dead cap. You know, everybody's saying last year, well, we have Surtain and Miners and what else? I'll tell you what else. We got the 12th overall pick, 6th quarterback taken in the whole draft. Everybody said second-round talent. But guess what? Sean Payton didn't care. And even in the 2023 season, we lost by 70 points that same year. And a month later, you would have never even known that. And we went on a 5-game winning streak against playoff teams, all playoff teams. So, yeah, that's why Sean Payton is on my Broncos Mount Rushmore. He did the best turnaround in professional sports history. I know a lot of people want to say Dan Quinn. Guys, 2nd overall pick to NFC Championship is not that special. The 49ers did that 6 years ago. You know, when they drafted Nick Bosa, then went to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs that year. Guys, Sean Payton is already a Broncos legend, in my opinion.
Wow, that's a bold take, especially after one season going to the playoffs to go on the Mount Rushmore.
I don't care. Let my nuts hang.
I like it. Yeah, gotta do it.
We got a Tim Tebow in here.
You gotta do it. Fanatic Dak, I will say about yours, this is from 2000 on, so TD wouldn't probably be on there. But everybody else qualifies.
All right.
Sure. Or no, Elway doesn't belong. It wouldn't be on there either as well.
So my one was the exact same that Mark gave, which was let's see, Manning, Vaughn, Champ, DT. Like those would be the 4. But I'm gonna give a different angle now and just talk about guys who spent the majority of their career in Denver. So
DJ Williams. DJ Williams.
No, yeah. Okay, we can talk about that because here's my Mount Rushmore. So it would be Von Miller, Ryan Clady.
He's good.
No one talks about Ryan Clady, and Champ Bailey. And then this is where I was having a hard time deciding, but either between DJ Williams or Chris Harris. But because I want DJ Williams in the Broncos Ring of Fame, I'll go with him to round out my top 4.
So is this like a my guys Mount Rushmore?
Well, it's just kind of like you were a great Bronco and you played a long time in the NFL, and 90% of those games were for the Broncos.
Wow, talk about bold. Big E Bronco has C.J. Anderson in his modern Broncos Ring of Fame.
Wow,
that
is bold.
Let your nuts hang, I guess.
If I was gonna give like an actual modern Mount Rushmore for myself, I would have Rod Smith above DT personally, but I think I would actually. Man, this is so close, but just to make it not. I'm going to throw PS2 instead of a receiver. I'm going to have 2 corners. I'm going to have Champ and PS2 along with Peyton and Vaughn. I mean, you can't go wrong. I think we've only seen the starting to scratch the surface of PS2, and he's definitely he's on trajectory of first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, if we can fast forward this to 10 years from now and I get to pick my modern, I'm hoping Bo Nix is on there, and I think he's taken the great steps starting so far. So, yeah. Now, if we're going my guys, Andy brings up a name like Aqib Talib would be one of my guys. I think he was the perfect player for us that we needed for setting the tone before the game. The fact that he went out in the Super Bowl and was like, "I'm getting a 15-yard penalty on their first drive." Just everyone know, and he grabs that dude by the head and completely bounces him out of the bar. Like that was such an insane play and put him on the 1 yard line. They ended up getting a touchdown, but that let everybody know like, that ain't, you're not, nothing free today. Everything's going to be real difficult. And of course, like the chain snatching was just
Legendary.
an all-time legend. Yeah. And shooting yourself in the park. But that just shows you what a wild man Aqib Talib was, man. You just didn't know.
When he got married, he had his registry posted. So I bought him a fruit basket off of his registry.
Really?
Oh,
That's pretty rad.
So whenever he hangs his bananas on there, he has no idea it's from me, but it's from me.
wasn't that the same offseason we won the Super Bowl and he shot himself in the leg?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, in the park. Yeah. With the bros. Aqib Talib, if you somehow ever see this, come on. I would love to ask you some stories, man. There's nobody else I'd rather talk to, honestly. Just
he
about
can tell
mentality.
us what Chad Kelly was on.
Yeah, that's true.
But wasn't he on the Rams when that happened?
Well, yeah, but he's got friends. He's got friends in high places.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Aqib Talib, dude, that AFC Championship game when he was guarding Gronkowski and he was kind of pulling down the jersey while jumping up and keeping Gronkowski down is just the veteran type of stuff that is like, he knew he went against Gronkowski in New England. He knew how to deal with them. And, Gronkowski's taken Chris Harris and just throwing him aside, which was total blatant offensive pass interference, by the way. Mm-hmm. But Aqib Talib, that was not going to happen to him. And to get that stop on that play and then to make the crucial 2-point conversion tip that put us in the Super Bowl, I mean, how can you not love Aqib Talib?
Do you guys remember who intercepted the tip?
I do. David?
Bradley Roby.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I got it.
And then he fumbled it, and I was so freaking paranoid that they were going to return the fumble.
I knew there was a million guys who dove on it. I was just like, but after that, I was in the stadium at that time. I could just breathe like a sigh of relief. I was so tired afterwards that I felt like I played in the game.
Oh, dude, when that Tom Brady debate, I should have brought this up, but the look on Tom Brady's face walking off that field on that AFC Championship as an absolute beaten and broken man was something I'll always remember about Tom Brady. Now, all respect to Tom Brady, because, I mean, I have never seen somebody get hit as much as he did in that game. Von Miller and Marcus were like, they were back there within a second and a half of the snap all day long. It was unreal. And he still made magic happen. But, man, that was the most satisfying win. It was even more satisfying in a lot of ways than the Super Bowl win was. To beat Belichick and Tom Brady in that fashion, came down to the wire, and it was just a freaking rock fight. And amazing. Okay. So, that's all I got, I think. That was our modern Mount Rushmore.
That was great, Jeremy. I really enjoyed that, man. Well, I guess next Tuesday we will have real training camp stuff to actually talk about. So that will be a lot of fun. Sounds like we'll still have some different karma and courtroom debates going on as well, but it should be a lot of fun, guys. Any Kodiak, Jeremy, is there anything on your channels that we should keep an eye out for this week before we get together for Horsepower Hour next week?
I'll think of something. I always do. Right now, I'm just posting YouTube shorts, but, I miss talking Broncos instead of creating Broncos content. Right now, it's slow. I'm creating Broncos content. I promise you, pretty soon, we are going to be talking about something that is actually relevant. So I'm excited for it. And yeah, man, we are not that far away from kicking off against the Titans week 1.
Yes. Jeremy?
No, while we're in the off season, I haven't thought of anything. I'm just preparing for Horsepower Hour. But real quick, Don brings up a fantastic question. Not sure who I love watching walk off a loser more, Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. Who you got?
I will
It was
say-
always satisfying to see Tom Brady walk away. Now, the problem is that I don't have a lot of memories of Patrick Mahomes losing, sadly.
Exactly. I remember only one game of him beating us and one game where we should have beaten him, but didn't happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, man, it's so hard because it's so weird about sports is like I hated the New England Patriots so much, but then after everything kind of unraveled and Tom went to Tampa and Bill Belichick has not had he ends up getting fired and it just fizzles out like everything does. It's hard to retain the hate. Like you're just like, they weren't that bad or whatever. But like I remember myself just being like, oh, I freaking can't stand these guys. Now, Shanahan back in the 2000s, he owned Bill Belichick. And that win again, stopping they had won like 19 games in a row or something like that going into the playoffs when we had Plummer. And that Champ Bailey almost picks 100 and some yard pick six, which wasn't a pick six because he ended up getting pushed out at the one. But that game was like so satisfying, almost as much as the AFC Championship was, because it's just like it ended all that dynasty talk. And John Lynch is making interceptions, and I woke up that morning and I was just like, I just feel like we're gonna win today. I just feel it. I just, some days you just are like, I don't know why. I can just feel it in the air. And that was such a satisfying win. So, yeah, I hated the Patriots so much.
Yeah, I will say, though, like, now the Patriots, to me, felt like a team that nobody could beat. The Chiefs, to me, over the past few years, have felt like a team you're not allowed to beat.
That's
from
true.
other external circumstances. So when Cooper DeJean got that pick six this year, I probably screamed so loud that my entire neighborhood could hear it. Like, I can't even lie. Like, that is one of my favorite sports memories is how loud I was. Like, I was really, really loud when Abrams Drain picked off Herbert last year. Like, I probably screamed so loud that it rang throughout the house because I was home alone. I was home alone for the Super Bowl too, and I could feel my throat being sore for a month after the Cooper DeJean pick six.
Yeah. And then we drafted the comp of Cooper DeJean and Jahdae Barron. Let's hope that keeps going.
Dude, and he's now signed. So thank God we got that. Now we'll wait to see RJ Harvey sign.
David, you got any videos coming out this week?
Man, I don't know, man. I'll probably do some videos just kind of recapping some different things that we see reported on with this week with rookies at training camp. If there's anything, I doubt they even have the media there this week. So until then, reminisce with me on shorts. John Elway freaking carving everybody up. And maybe I'll throw out some TD and Shannon Sharp, some other highlights right like that. But right now I got a whole bunch of Elway stuff that I've just been cutting up and putting out there. It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, this is a good time to just reminisce before we get into football season. So I love it.
Mark just put something in there. We need to live stream ourselves watching a game live. Dude, it would be, oh man, you don't even want to see me.
I did it for 2 Buffs games or 3 Buffs games in 2023. And I slept the entire weekend afterward. It was like the most exhausting thing ever. I will never do it again.
Why was it so exhausting?
Because I mean, you're talking.
Oh, you're
always engaging with people. I mean, you just want to be there on the screen, like not saying anything, right? So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you're talking more than the commentators are, man. And by the time the show's over or the game's over, then you got to do the post game. So then you got to keep talking, and then you're just exhausted. I was so exhausted. And then I did it with my friend Chico, where we would live stream, but his stream was ahead of mine, like his feed.
Oh no! Oh. Yeah, you got to link them up.
So isn't that the worst, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot easier in theory. Sorry to shoot that down, Mark. You can try that, but I will sadly have to decline.
Well, me, Mark, and Alex all live in the same city, so we could all do a one camera watch too, if we wanted to.
Yeah, if we were to set up the IT stuff for that, I'd be down. But the problem is, if this show ever gets a sponsorship, then I don't know. B, if I ever want my future employment opportunities to be
Exactly.
to be wherewithal, then I don't know. But C, sports is also not really a social thing for me. I like to, unless I go to a game, I like to just chill out and, be in my own despair in my bedroom.
Yeah, what the losses are just like I can the next day or later that night I'm pretty chill. I can for the most part, but man, in the moment, like my dog's upstairs because he doesn't want I get very upset. So yeah, it's fun. It would be entertaining. There's no doubt about that. But that's funny.
Well, I mean, Biggie Bronco thinks I should still be doing it. So, I mean, who knows? But maybe things will change. But I do have a word cap, believe it or not. That's what it is. But guys, I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna get to sleep. But thank you guys for doing this. I mean, you guys put in all the effort into this and make it really special. So thank you to everybody in the comments.
Yes.
And sounds like we need to get a meet and greet going, something like that. Maybe we all got to meet up, or do last 5 minutes of a close game. That would be fun.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. But guys, be sure subscribe to all the channels, links in the description, like, comment, spam us with your hot takes. We love you all very much, and go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Sacrifice. He's grabbed and he's going to be sacked.